What's up, meatbags? It's the often imitated, never duplicated TonyTGD, and I'm joined by the one and only Sidekick Max. Say hello to the people, Max.
Hello.
As you can see from the thumbnail, from the title of the video, it is Morbin time. We're going to review Morbius. We're going to give an honest take. We've seen the movie for Father's Day.
Let's go.
But before we get to it, we got to hit that theme music.
Hey, get out of my way. This season isn't hot take, so you might as well stay. It's time to listen to the geeking away.
So it is Morbin time. Sidekick Max, right off the bat, tell the people to like, share, and subscribe to the channel.
Did you already say it though?
Yeah, but I want to hear you say it.
Well, yeah, you gotta like, comment, share, subscribe.
That's right, because every subscription brings us closer to Morbius 2, Morbin time to the extreme.
Morbin time to the extreme. Let's go.
All right. So, right off the bat, it's going to be spoilers. We're going to try to keep them towards the end of the review. We'll let you know when the spoilers are coming.
Yep.
But no spoilers. What did you think? You saw the movie, Max. What were your initial thoughts?
Initial thoughts. You want to start this with like a rating out of 10?
Yeah,
or
out of 10, what would you give the movie?
a decent 7, 6, 6.5.
6.5 out of 10. I would put it at about a 5.5 myself.
I thought it was okay. Wasn't as bad as people said it was.
Definitely not as bad as people said it was. I think it was actually better than some of the other movies in the MCU. I think
Yeah,
it was definitely better than the Eternals, in my opinion.
that's true. That movie was.
I think I said this earlier when we were talking. I said the Eternals was so long. It was too long. I wanted that to end. Like, I wanted the Eternals to be a shorter movie. Morbius, on the other hand, actually wanted more movie. I wanted to see more Morbius.
I did. I want to see more Morbin.
I did. When he morbed that one dude.
When he morbed that one dude, I wanted to see more of it, man.
Yeah, I mean, I did think it was a good movie. Not a great movie. No, it was decent. 5.5. And I know that sounds low, but you'll understand when we get to it. The plot of Morbius, spoiler-free plot. We got Dr. Michael Morbius. He has a blood condition. It's not really spelled out too clear as to what it is and what it all entails. But they just say, hey, this dude's sick.
Some dude's sick.
He meets a friend named Lucien, who he nicknames Milo. Milo's also sick. Everybody in this little community hospital thing is sick.
Yeah.
They get made fun of by the local kids. So it's them against the world, basically. And they say, hey, we're going to stick together. We're like the Spartans. The few
brothers.
against the many. Brothers. They grow up. Michael Morbius becomes a doctor, world famous, invents fake blood. Saves thousands of lives, but he's up his own ass so much that he's like, I don't want the Nobel Prize because this fake blood wasn't even what I was trying. This is like a side effect of a failed experiment. And he tells the King of Sweden to go stick it up his ass.
Yep.
So no Nobel
Yeah.
Prize. But he's convinced that if he splices DNA from a bat with his human DNA, that he'll find a cure for his disease because, you know, vampire bats have that anticoagulant bullshit in their saliva.
So I'm assuming his blood clots more than usual?
Yeah, that's probably a good guess. It has something to do because he wants an anticoagulant, so obviously his blood is too thick, too coagulating. I got that same problem. Yeah,
like yours?
Yeah, I do have an issue with that. I'm not as
bad
as Dr. Michael Morbius here. So, spoiler, he gets a formula that turns him into the monster, and then shit hits the fan, and we get the rest of the movie. That's the spoiler-free plot synopsis. So what did you think of the acting in the movie?
It seemed stiff.
You didn't buy Jared Leto as a world-famous doctor?
Not really. That, and I guess the way the CGI went with it, he looked stiff. It didn't look natural.
Yeah, I think they were trying to go for this smart ass, like jackass kind of a like
doctor, like he's a smart person.
No. I'm thinking more like a Iron Man. You know how he's an asshole, but he's a nice asshole. And he's got smart ass quips.
Yeah, this dude seemed like he had split personality of he's nice, but also he's a jerk to everyone else.
Yeah, and it didn't quite work. It was uneven, the acting. Jared Leto, when he was playing brooding Dr. Mike Morbius, that worked.
That was good.
When he was morbing people, that was okay. But when he was trying to be
happy-go-lucky,
suave and happy and like, yeah, look at me, I'm cool, that didn't work.
It didn't work because you established the character beforehand was this dark, brooding dude. Like, yes, they can be happy still, but they wouldn't express it that way.
His quote-unquote brother, Milo / Lucian, Matt Smith, Doctor Who fame, thought he did fantastic. I bought his conflict of wanting to be normal, but also in love with Dr. Michael Morbius. If you didn't notice by what I just said there are strong gay undertones in the movie.
Homoerotic undertones.
Very strong, and we'll get to that more. But Matt Smith, I think his acting was pretty good. The gentleman that played the doctor or the
father figure?
Yeah, the father figure. He was good. He plays in Sherlock Holmes. He plays Moriarty.
Yeah.
I forget the actor's name, so forgive me, but he is a good actor. I liked him. I'm not going to Google it right now. I'm too lazy. The female doctor, the quote-unquote love interest, wasn't really believable. Wasn't buying the whole thing.
She didn't seem human. No offense to her, but she didn't seem human. I didn't get that.
So, yeah, it was weak. What did you think of the script, the writing, the plot? Without spoiling it.
Weak. Mid.
Yeah, I think it was uneven. It felt like two movies. I know there was some reshoots and stuff, and it felt like they were going in one direction at the beginning, and then by the end of the movie, they went in another direction.
Because they had this whole gruesome thing, but then they had this really happy
superhero thing. Yeah, it was uneven.
But either you're a villain or a hero. You can't be both. Okay, I know Loki does that, but at least it makes sense for his character.
Yeah, it didn't. Yeah. It was very, very weird. Like I said, it was very uneven, almost jarring at times. And now, 7 minutes and 47 seconds in, we're going to get to the spoilers. So if you haven't seen it, if you're looking forward to Morbin time, skip ahead some, because we're going to get into spoilers right here.
Yep.
All right. So, as I said earlier, Dr. Michael Morbius invents his formula, becomes this vampire human hybrid. He wants to suck blood. He's driven by the hunger, the craving. He uses the fake blood to kind of soothe the hunger, but it's
slowly, not working.
Immediately it works, but then immediately he's like, "Hey, it's not working as effectively as regular blood."
It keeps him 6 hours, then less.
Yeah, that's 4 hours.
It's less effective every time.
They kind of make the red and blue joke. You're going to take the red, you're going to take the blue. I think that was their red pill, blue pill
joke
type reference joke, whatever you want. It didn't really work.
It kind of, unless you were paying attention, you didn't really know it was there.
Yeah, Matt Smith, like I said, Lucian / Milo, he is the one who's bankrolling these illegal and highly unethical experiments, which again, the character is supposed to be a good guy, sort of, but he's doing these highly unethical, illegal experiments.
I have morals and I have standards, but I don't have enough morals and standards to not do war crimes.
Yeah, he has to go into international waters in order to do these experiments. They're that unethical and horrendous. But that's how he becomes Morbius. He kills 5 mercenaries. Maybe it's 6.
It's 7.
Is it 7? He killed a bunch of people on the boat, right? Doesn't kill the female doctor that's with him.
It's 8, 9. Sorry.
I don't remember. It was a lot of people. He kills, but they're all mercenaries, so no one gives a fuck. He doesn't really feel bad about it. He kind of expresses a little, oh, I killed people. Then it's he's okay.
A little bit of guilt. Yeah.
Matt Smith is hey, I want some of that Morbin juice. Let me morb with you. We could be Morbin brothers. And Jared Leto's like, no, dude, this is a curse. You don't want to be
It's
Morbius.
my Morbid.
Yeah. And then Matt Smith just becomes another Morbius. They don't really explain because Michael Morbius has to get shot in the back, in the spine, by a doctor.
Yeah.
In order
Like,
to get
we get he stole the serum because it zoomed into it like right before that whole argument, but
it was in a special like syringe container.
Yeah, it was in a weird vial. Like I don't know how they did plot armor.
I'm assuming he drank it or something because, like I said, he couldn't obviously inject himself in the back. He's crippled like Dr. Morbius was beforehand. So somehow he just gets the formula. The formula just works. Yeah. And he kills a female doctor. Now they're in the scene where they show it, the nurse, not a doctor. He kills this nurse. And he doesn't feel any remorse. He's like, nah, fuck it, whatever. Right? But in the scene, they show like the lights.
Mm-hmm.
Like
really horror movie.
Yeah, horror movie. And it's getting dark. And it makes sense because earlier drafts of the movie and earlier leaks and everything was saying that Matt Smith was playing a different character. A character called Hunger, who in the comics started off as a character called Crown, who had the Dark Force, which is the same stuff that Cloak from Cloak and Dagger has, and allows him to control darkness, essentially. Mm-hmm. So the idea that he was making the hospital darker so he could attack this nurse
made sense,
and I think it's a leftover from the previous drafts or the previous version of the movie. They're like, oh, we're not going to reshoot this, just fuck it. We won't explain why suddenly the lights aren't working for this one scene and why there's darkness surrounding. But he kills the nurse, and Dr. Michael Morbius just assumes, no, it was me that killed the nurse. He doesn't remember killing the nurse. He just thinks that maybe he blacked out and killed her. Even though he has no blood on him, there's no evidence of him killing a person.
Yeah.
But he's just like, I must have killed her. I'm the only monster. Yeah, so I must have did it. He goes to jail. They arrest his ass. Turns out Matt Smith shows up, pretends to be a lawyer, because that's how it works. You just show up to jail and like, hey,
I'm a lawyer. I went to law school for like 2 months. He didn't finish, supposedly.
But you can't just show up to jail and be like, I'm a lawyer for that guy.
Lawyer.
Yeah. They need to take your name and run checks. There's a process, right? And it was like a highly specialized,
high-end prison.
Yeah, it wasn't like a small like county jail. It was like a real like prison. But he sneaks in some blood.
Actual blood.
He comes in with a cane. Again, Matt Smith comes in with a cane, leaves the cane in the jail cell, prison cell.
And they don't care?
Yeah, they don't care. They don't be like, hey, wait a minute, you left this. There's no cameras anywhere to see what's going on. He leaves the cane in there, and he's able to somehow slip some blood into the guards. Don't see shit.
I thought he got a pat down or anything.
Yeah, they didn't check him on the way in. Apparently, he just comes in with his blood pack. Morbius gets it. He morbs up, leaves. Matt Smith is on the street.
Every time we say morb.
Yeah, Matt Smith's on the street. Sees some newspaper vendor, and the newspaper vendor's like, hey, fucking Michael Morbius is an asshole because he looks like an asshole. And he's like, dude, you know him? He's like, nah, he just looks like an asshole. Fuck that guy. So Matt Smith just kills in the middle of the street.
Just kill some dude.
There's people walking, right? And because I know it's nighttime, but they show like people walking around still, right?
Yeah.
So it made no sense that he just killed us. And I think it gets dark too.
He's like a yandere.
Right? But I think it gets dark, if I remember correctly. Like,
it's weird.
So again, I think that he was supposed to have darkness powers, but they just kind of
scrapped it.
Yeah. Morbius has this weird fog trail, but I'm not sure if it's just supposed to be a visual thing for us or like an actual, like he has like smoke.
Said it was his pheromones, but my dad didn't want to take that one.
I don't think so. It was like a purple fog.
Well, it changed depending on his clothes.
Yeah, that's true. Anyway, so Matt Smith kills this guy. And of course, Jared Leto's like, oh, freaking out. And they fight a little fight, and he just lets him go. And he learns to fly inside the train, like the underground, the subway. As I say, underground railroad. It's fucking Harry Tubman and shit. No. It's a subway tunnel. Yeah. But he just learns to fly. Like, there's no logical explanation why this guy who took a serum
can fly. It's not like he has wings or anything.
Yeah, he just flies.
Like, that's what I said. I'm like, he should have grown wings. That would have made sense.
And he has to learn to fly. Matt Smith just like, oh, I guess we can fly now. He just starts flying later in the movie with like no problem.
Guess we can fly now. I didn't know. Hey yo, the next update came out.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, this is the next update.
Yeah, because he keeps getting new powers as it goes on. So eventually, Matt Smith, he's jealous of the female doctor because the female doctor
Likes him.
And Michael Morbius got a thing going on. He sees them kiss, kind of pisses him off. He eventually kills the father figure, kills the female doctor. They get into a big fight. He beats the shit out of Morbius. That's the other thing. Like, he just beats the shit out of Morbius, right?
I said he's like a yandere.
But I'm saying they're fighting. The hero gets his ass whipped. And how does he win?
Bats.
He just summons the bats. And the bats come and chew up Matt Smith. And then Morbius hits him with a couple of things and kills him.
He Hadoukens him with bats.
Yeah, it was the weirdest thing because he was like moving his hand and the bats
would follow.
Yeah.
It was really weird. Like, it would have made sense if it was like water or air, but it was bats.
Yeah, just
like
directing the bats with his hand.
Imagine a scene from like Avatar: The Last Airbender.
He was a bat bender.
He was a bat bender.
And it was the weirdest. There was a Venom reference where he beats up some people and he's like, I'm Venom. And it kind of fell flat. Because they weren't like, oh shit, Venom. They were just like, what? Then Michael Morbius, who is worried through the whole movie that he's going to eventually succumb to the hunger, just kind of fucks off, right? He's like, I'm going to kill myself because he invents this like anti-Morbius serum. He's like, I'm going to kill myself.
He kills the other dude and just runs off?
Yeah, he just fuck it. I'm not going to kill myself. And there's no explanation. There's no like, I can control the hunger. I'm going to try to fight against it and save people. He just kind of fucks off.
Yeah.
And that's it. And that's the end of the movie.
Now our homoerotic subtext.
Hold on, because there's two mid-credit scenes or end-credit scenes. How are we going?
Yeah, sure there is.
We get Adrian Toomes shows up inside the prison, just appears, and then we get a little news report how Adrian Toomes showed up and that they're going to release him because he didn't commit no crimes. And they show him being released, and that's it. That was that whole scene. And then the second end credit scene, we see Michael Morbius drive into like the towards a field. He gets out of his car, and this like light and wind is coming at him. And oh no, it's the Vulture. And using voiceover, because it's not Michael Keaton in a suit, right? It's like some generic CGI and stuff. They got Michael Keaton to do the voiceover.
Yeah.
So you can tell like it's really weird. And you can see that Jared Leto in this other the Vulture thing guy, CGI, whatever, he's not in the same scene.
Yeah.
Because they keep flipping back and forth perspectives, and there's never a shot with the two of them.
Yeah.
But he's basically like, hey, you're Michael Morbius, and I'm the Vulture, and we both could be like heroes together, and we could team up and do this like teamy thing, even though Spider-Man is probably responsible for me being here, and you don't know who Spider-Man is, but when I said Spider-Man, you didn't have no reaction.
You're like, yeah, Spider-Man.
And you're just like, yeah, sounds good. So they seem to be setting up some sort of Sinister Six, or I guess Superhero Six, because it'd be kind of weird to call yourself the Sinister Six if you're supposed to be heroes.
Yeah.
But maybe that's going to be scrapped because
Morbin time.
And now, for the homoerotic undertones.
He comes to me earlier and just like fully lays this out to me, so.
If you watch the movie, so Michael Morbius meets Lucian when they're kids. And there's a lot of discussion about not being normal. They're not normal, and they just want to be normal.
What would you do if you were normal?
Yeah, if you're just normal for an hour, and there's just a lot of discussion about how they're not normal. They're different. And they show other children, and other children are playing and doing children things, but they can't do it because they're not normal.
And the one kid gets the letter. Right.
So when Dr. Morbius leaves, before he's not a doctor at the point, but when Michael leaves the little orphanage school, it's really unclear what it is. It's like a little hospice thing. When he leaves, because he saved Lucian's life by taking a spring out of a pen. And
he jerry-rigged some like really high-tech machine with a pen spring.
And so the doctor's like, hey, you must be really smart because you fucking put a spring inside and fixed this machine. So they're sending him away. So he leaves a letter for Lucian. Lucian reads it, and the wind takes it out the window.
Stupid Milo. Couldn't hold on to one thing.
And he goes out to get the letter, and the kids are reading it.
He gets jumped.
And they beat the shit out of him. He's like a crippled kid. And that's kind of where they show that he's a little got anger issues because he hits a kid with his crutches, which is stupid because there's like 6 of them. He hits one kid, and then suddenly they just
the
jump on him. Right?
Yeah, the other 5 jump him.
Highlighting that he's different, and they beat the shit out of him. And then the doctor comes and saves him. And
he goes to beat up the one kid.
Yeah, and the doctor's like, "Whoa, stop beating the kid up. He's down. Leave him alone." But they were also talking about how they're like the Spartans, and we're together. We're going to be together forever. The few against the many.
Spartans were gay.
Yes, they were. Spartans were homosexual in some regards.
It's Pride Month. You could say the G word.
They're gay, especially when they went off to war.
Yeah.
But when they grow up, when Michael Morbius is an adult and Milo is an adult, he's adopted the Milo name. He's no longer called Lucian. It's Milo. Everyone calls him Milo.
For some reason.
Yeah. He got money. They don't explain how he gets money.
But he's rich.
He's rich. And he's, like I said, he's bankrolling Michael. And he basically tells him, hey, we're going to be in this together. Forever and ever, the 2 of us together. And that's when Michael says, hey, I need some money to do this experiments on international waters. And Milo says, no, well, I mean, we don't need to do that, right? We don't need to be normal. We could die together. We'll die together as brothers. And Mike's like, well, we could, or we could die fighting, right? Like, do these experiments, we die fighting. He's like, I'll do anything for you. Anything for you, Michael.
Sorry, I'm thinking of Michael from The Office.
Right? Yeah, Michael from The Office. But he's like, I'll do anything for you. And then later, when he becomes the second Morbius, or whatever you want to call him, Matt Smith, crazy Matt Smith.
He's like,
the first thing he does when he's quote unquote normal is he tries to pick up a chick at a bar. But that doesn't go well because he's very nervous. He's not used to it. He looks uncomfortable trying to pick this chick up in the bar. And then he ends up getting picked on by some guys. And he morbs the shit out of them later on. Like, just fucking kills them. Again, I think it was a little dark.
It was.
Yeah. So really, I think that he was supposed to have dark, and he just kind of like scrapped it. But anyway, so being normal, the first thing that he does when he's normal is try to pick up a chick,
and it doesn't work out.
Which again, it highlights how it was like there was supposed to be a gay undertone.
It's very fruity. They
show him stalking the female doctor that's in love with Michael, or
not only
at least likes him, and they try it sort of try to paint this like love triangle, right?
Yeah.
But he never hits on the female doctor. And earlier in the movie, remember, he told Michael not to fall in love with the girl. Don't worry about girls falling in love.
Not only he says that's not for us, but also he's always, as soon as he gets these powers and he tells them, he's like, I hit the desk. He's like, we're going to spend our lives together. Yes. We are immortal now.
We can spend our lives together. And later on in the movie, after Matt Smith has killed their father figure and he's killed the female doctor, and they get into the big epic fight, and he's like, you can't kill me, Michael. I'm the only thing you have left. The only thing you have left.
He's like, you can't do it. He starts crying. I
really think that the movie, at the very least, there was supposed to be Matt Smith's character was supposed to be in love with Michael Morbius' character.
I would have been totally fine with it too.
And I think they went far enough, and at some point they're like, wait a minute, we can't do this. Like, they chickened out. They're like, they got 75% of the way there, and then just chickened out.
Yeah,
because like I said,
really sad.
There was reshoots.
He had a very Yandere-esque, if I can't have him, no one can have him.
Yeah, so like I said, and that's where part of like where you can see the scripts where like something happened, because like I said earlier in the movie, it's got this dark horror-esque themes to it, and then later on they're like superhero-y and like, look at me, I'm beating
like
up
the
thugs.
one Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah, so it didn't work, but there is gay undertones, and I'm very disappointed that Sony didn't just go for it, because they did the same thing in Venom, because we saw Venom.
I was say, is
Venom
it
2?
Aren't they supposed to be together though?
No.
I'm pretty sure it's
No.
in some of the comics.
They're not supposed to be together. They're just bonded. It's like a weird
I'm pretty
alien.
sure.
No, they're not. The Venom symbiote and Eddie Brock are just bonded together.
I don't know.
But in the movie, they did like a look. We got to be proud of who we are, and don't hide who you are and stuff.
Come on, like
there was a lot of undertones.
It really, like, come on, man.
Like Sony just goes up to the line
during the Pride
and
month.
just looks over and goes, "Yeah, I'm not gonna go over there."
It's like they set up everything to be gay, and then they were like, "Did you mark that one gay when you said that?" No. Interesting.
Yeah. So, boo on you, Sony. You should just won for it.
Yeah.
I mean, the movie has changed enough of the Michael Morbius backstory. He's like, yeah, he's not gay in the comics, and yeah, the other character's not gay. But the movie is like so removed from the comics
that you could have went for it. And honestly, I would have liked to see some representation.
Yeah. So, bad on you, boo on you, Sony, for not going for it. Which again leaves the movie sort of this weird, messy. Like they're trying to build this weird love triangle, but it doesn't really
working.
Work. Yeah, and then they kind of try to show Matt Smith's character likes him, but they only go so far, and that's not working.
I mean, he literally grabs the dude's face like he's gonna kiss him in one of the scenes. Like it's very, very much tension.
It is. But overall, I was interested enough in the movie. As bad as it sounds, yeah, I wanted more. I wanted more backstory. I wanted more Morbin.
I wanted more Morbin too.
He only beats up a couple of people.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to see more. I wanted to see Morbius sort of evolve. Like, hey, I take the blue and I got powers and I need to use these powers before
I wanted to see the
crazy.
internal conflict.
Yeah, like he had them and he knew that eventually that he was going to turn. Right?
Yeah.
So at least like let me use them for good while I have them and I have control over myself.
Yeah.
But it like again, it went to the line and then it just never stepped over. It was like, yeah, we're gonna kind of hint at it, but we're not gonna give it to you. Again, I said it's a 5 out of 5.5. You said what? 6.5?
6.5.
It's a decent movie. If you got a red box, I suggest getting it at the red box. It's cheap. It's worth your time.
It kept my interest, and I'm very ADHD, so.
Yeah. And you'll get to see him say the line, it's Morbin time. Right? So there's that. That's really all I got to say about the movie. Not great. Not terrible.
Bad.
Better than the Eternals.
Yeah.
That should be the tagline. Morbius, we're better than the Eternals. Until next time, this has been TonyTGD, Sidekick Max, reviewing a movie and just kind of rambling on and saying some weird shit. Love, peace, booty grease. We out.